Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankara Acharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyantam Mande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Kesavam Badarayanam सूत्र भाष्य कृतौ वंदे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्ति भेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्त देहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः श्रीमेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति 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 हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम सच्चिदानंद रूपाय कृष्णाय क्लिष्टकारिणे नमो वेदांत वेद्याय गुरवे बुद्धिसाक्षिणे कृष्णद्वैपायनं व्यासं सर्वलोकहिते रतं वेदाब्ज भास्करं वन्दे क्षमाधिनिलयं मुनिं सहस्रमूर्तेः पुरुषोत्तमस्य सहस्रनेत्राननपादबाहोः सहस्रनाम्नां स्तवनं प्रशस्तं निरुच्यते जन्मजरादिशान्त्यै. Namaste once again, all of you.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. So last class we saw the meaning of, what was that word? Nama Paramatma, right? Paramatma, Adi Shankara said, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhava. The nature of that Paramatma, he said as he is ever pure, ever conscious, and ever free. This is the Paramatma we saw. So whenever we think of Paramatma, this is what we must visualize. The one who is ever free, pure, of the nature of pure consciousness. Consciousness we cannot visualize, unfortunately, because it is not an object. We can only visualize an object. But when we recall Paramatma, these qualities or this nature of the Paramatma, we must be able to bring it in our mind. The next Nama is, which is the 12th Nama, Muktanam Paramagatihi. Muktanam, for people who are liberated, who have achieved Mukti, Jnaninam, you can put, right? Mukti while living, not after death. Mukti while living, those who have become totally free from all the bondages of samsara. Paramagatihi, the ultimate goal. So that Paramatma, this Vishnu, is the ultimate goal for all those people who are liberated. It is actually ultimate goal for everybody, as we have seen earlier in the Purva Bhag. But for Muktanam, they know that this is the ultimate goal. Ajnanis do not know that this is their ultimate goal. The goal remains the same for everybody. All jivas, the goal is Paramagatihi only. Okay. So, what Adi Shankara says, Muktanam Parama Prakrishta Gatihi Gantavya Devata Punaravritti Asambhavat Tat Gatasyeti Muktanam Paramagatihi, he says. Okay. So, Muktanam Paramagatihi, as I told you, is the ultimate goal, ultimate end for all those who are enlightened, liberated. And gaining that end, there is no further thing to be gained. That's the last one. Nothing else to be achieved after becoming liberated. And once you have achieved it, there is no way of losing it also. Once you have become a jnani, you cannot then become a ajnani again. Okay. Unless initially becoming jnani was a defective jnani. Otherwise, once you have gained the knowledge, where is the question of ignorance again coming back? Knowledge drives away ignorance once and for all. So, not losing that freedom, that liberation has been achieved, that is the Paramagati. Okay. And we have already seen, earlier, Paramam Yaf Parayanam, we have seen, right? Same idea we saw in the Purva Bhaga, before the Dhyana Slokas and all that, right? And the same idea is repeated here. Pujya Swamiji says, see, there are different wants in people. Different people have different wants. They have got different goals in life. But if you analyze, all these wants can be reduced to three basic wants, which are fundamental wants. Categorize, if you categorize all the wants, you can categorize them into three basic wants. And what are they? First of all, nobody wants to be bound by time. What does that mean? Nobody wants to die. They want to live eternally. Even the person on a deathbed, if he is asked, he will say, let me at least live for one more day. Of course, provided he is not afflicted with some serious disease where his prayer is only, oh God, please take me away. Otherwise, when we are healthy, when we are actually enjoying, within inverted comma, enjoying this life, nobody wants to die. Everybody wants to live eternally. So this is the first want, that we want to live eternally. We don't want to be a mortal. We want to be immortal. And this is natural for everybody. I mean, other than those kind of people I told you. Because I have seen some very old people, they are very sick and all that, and they are suffering from their illness. And they ask this question, why doesn't God take me away? Why he is making me suffer? Of course, it's again because of their ignorance. They are suffering not because of God. They are suffering because of their own past karmas. And only when that quota of karma ends will they die. God has got no power to take away them, just because they are putting an application that please take me away. God cannot do that. So that is the way how the whole totality works, the prapancha works. So that is there. So this is the first thing. Everybody wants to be immortal. The second is everybody wants to be happy. Nobody chooses unhappiness, isn't it? Even people who commit suicide, they commit suicide not because they don't want to live, but because they don't know how to live happily. That's the reason why they commit suicide. They find that under the present circumstances, they have tried everything and they have not found a way to live happily. And that is why they feel that if I end this life here itself, maybe I will become happy. Again, an illusion for those people. But this is the second one, that everybody wants to live and everybody wants to live happily also. Okay. So this desire is the second one. And the third one is nobody wants to be ignorant. Nobody can tolerate ignorance. Everybody wants to know everything that is going on around them. Even in a house, suppose there is a telephone call and one of the spouses attend that phone call and speak for a few minutes. The other spouse doesn't know who has called or what is the topic of conversation about. Immediately after the receiver is placed back, or for that matter, mobile phone switch after the call is over, he or she will ask, who was that who called? What was the discussion about? Curiosity, ignorance. I can't tolerate ignorance. And this is there right from childhood. We can actually experience this. A child, it cannot tolerate ignorance. And what happens is the child will ask a question and it will not understand the first time you give an answer. So the child will ask that question again and again and again, same question. Why? Because whatever answer you have given, it has not gone and settled in its mind. He is still ignorant about that. Until that happens, the child will go on asking the same question. But many of you might have seen one WhatsApp forward which come sometime earlier, came some maybe last year or year before last and all. Some 2-3 people had forwarded that to me. It was a very interesting one. An old man is sitting in a park along with his son. Very old man. I mean, his eyesight is very weak and his ears are, he can't hear and all. And there is a very beautiful bird which comes and sits just near them. Let us call it some cuckoo bird. So he asks the son, what is this? The son says it is a cuckoo. After some time, the old man again asks, what is this? The son says, it is cuckoo, I have already told you. Again, after some time, the old man asks, what is this? The son now gets very, frustrated. He says, 2-3 times I have already told you it is a cuckoo. Can't you understand? Doesn't anything go into your head or what? Why do you want me to answer the same question again and again? He becomes little furious. So the old man, sad old man, because the son has actually, sort of taken out on him, he gets up and goes inside the house, brings one small diary and gives it to the son and then says, please read this. So in that diary, the old man has recorded the conversation of the son when he was growing up a small child. And he has written, today there was a beautiful bird which came in our garden. And son, whatever his name, he asked me what it was. I told him it was a cuckoo. And he asked this question 15 times. And all the 15 times I patiently answered him that it was a cuckoo. So when the son reads it, he understands that, what he has done. Because the old man, his intellect is no better than probably a child intellect. Whatever is said doesn't go inside and registered immediately. So he keeps asking the same question again and again. And we all have this experience with our grandparents or, old parents and all that. So this ignorance is something which we cannot tolerate at all. Even at a ripe old age, if we see something new, we want to know what it is. And this ignorance, non-tolerance of this ignorance is behind all gossips which go on in this world. What is gossip? Nothing but sharing unrelated information about unrelated persons. And gossip is its birth is from this intolerance for ignorance. Everybody wants to know everything, what is going on in this house, who is meeting whom, right? In fact, there is some new guest coming to the neighbor's house. They want to know who that guest is. The neighbor has got a marriageable daughter. So is there something going on? Some marriage proposal is cooking up and all. They want to know everything. So this is typical. I'm talking about in India. I don't know what happens in the West. But here, at least in India, especially when you go to villages and all, which is very common. If your neighbor sees slippers outside your house, because it is a practice, nobody wears their chappal inside the house, shoes or chappal. If there are 2 or 3 slippers outside the house, immediately they know that there is some guests who have come. Then they will be curious, who are those guests? Then what they will do, especially ladies, I am telling you, they will find out some excuse to go to their house. Like, for example, borrowing some sugar or something. Then they will go into their house and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that you had guests. Fully well, outside they've seen the chappals, fully aware, but they will make an excuse. Oh, I didn't know you had guests. Can I just borrow a little bit sugar from you? my sugar has run out. Then in the process, they will actually, get the knowledge of who is there, for what purpose they have come, and all that they will gather. So this ignorance is the third one. So three things, basic desires or wants of human beings. Number one, to be immortal. Number two, to be always happy. Number three, to be not ignorant, knowledgeable about everything. Okay. So what is the first one? Nobody wants to be time bound. That's why you want to be immortal. Unhappiness comes from a sense of inadequacy. And that is why, whenever we feel inadequate, we are unhappy. And when that inadequacy, it could be for anything, rather, inadequacy for anything. When that inadequacy is fulfilled for the time being, you have the feeling of no longer being inadequate with respect to that particular thing. You feel happy, isn't it? So happiness is what? Happiness can be defined as the feeling of, happiness can be defined as a feeling which arises out of fullness, going away of a feeling of inadequacy. When that happens, momentarily we feel happy. And that is why, when we have a desire and for some object, and when we acquire that object, we feel happy, because our inadequacy feeling for that particular object has settled for the time being. But it doesn't last long, because then we have another desire for something else. We feel inadequate about that, and then we start feeling unhappy. And when that gets fulfilled, again, fullness comes, then happiness comes. So if you actually study the pattern of how we become happy, you will find that fullness gives us happiness. Whenever we feel full, contented, no want is there, then we feel happy. So freedom from mortality, freedom from ignorance, and freedom from inadequacy is what everyone wants. But the tragedy is, most of us do not know that we already are that only. By nature, we are of the nature of fullness, we are of the nature of knowledge, we are of the nature of being immortal. That is our nature, but because of ignorance, we do not know, and we then become a wanting person. I want this, I want that, and all that, or we get into a life of becoming, as Puja Swamiji says. Okay. So by our very nature of existence, consciousness, and limitlessness, we are already free from any kind of spatial, temporal, or object-wise limitation. We are already there. We are actually whole. We are complete in all respects. But being ignorant of this fact, we continue to be these wanting persons throughout our life. We want this, we want that. Okay. And as I said, whenever this wholeness is experienced for a few moments, all these things go away. We are very happy. In fact, even some people who like to listen to music, when they are listening to the music, during that time, they will be very, very happy. Because they get that sense of wholeness. They've been wanting, there is some want in their mind that we want to listen to music which that is fulfilled, they become very happy. And a Mukta Purusha, a liberated person, is a one, or a Jnani is one who knows this fact that by nature he is immortal, he is free from any kind of inadequacy, and the third is he is knowledge incarnate himself. There is no knowledge higher than the knowledge of the self. Self-knowledge is the highest knowledge which he has got. Once he has got that knowledge, every other knowledge is subordinate to that only. So a Mukta Purusha knows this, understand this, and not only understands, abides in this knowledge. And he also knows the relationship between Jivatma and Paramatma. He knows that the Paramatma is of the nature of all these things. And I, the Jivatma, is no different from that Paramatma. So by logic, I am also the nature of the nature of all these things only. So where is the question of my wanting anything in my life? This is how he understands, and this understanding and abiding in that understanding is what is called moksha. That's why he is called a mukta purusha. Okay. So his nature is what? Sachidananda Swarupa. As we saw, Shuddha Mukta Buddha Sabhava. Okay. So the Lord is the Paramagati in this way alone. One has to understand the Lord in this manner. When we say Paramagati, we have to understand that is the ultimate goal. Ultimate goal not to be reached after the death. Ultimate goal to be reached during this very life. This is the life, the goal of my life is this. I need to reach that goal as early as possible. So Sachidananda means what? Sat means free from time, pure existence, always existing. Chit means free from ignorance. Jnana Swarupam. Ananda means free from inadequacy. That's why you are limitless, not limited by any wanting, any want. So this is Sachidananda, free from in terms of time, free in terms of ignorance, and free in terms of limitedness, inadequacy. So this is the Paramagati for Muktana, that Lord Vishnu in this context, but Paramatma, Parameshwara, whatever name we want to call. And by gaining this knowledge that one is nothing but Brahman alone, by gaining this Aham Brahmasmi knowledge, I am this Paramatma, then one becomes free. One clearly achieves this goal. Okay. Because if Ishvara is everything, as we have seen, he is the creator. So creator, he has created everything in this cosmos out of his own self. He is both the Nimitta Karanam and also Upadana Karanam. Then we are also part of that creation. So we also should have all the aspects of Ishvara in us. There is no difference between us and Ishvara, isn't it? So that way also we can understand this. And like Lord Krishna says in the Gita, in the 8th chapter, Mamu petyak tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. He says that Arjuna, once you have actually reached me means what? Understood my nature, my true nature, my Sachidananda Swarupa, once you have understood that, Punarjanmam na vidyate, you will not have a rebirth. You are liberated once and for all. And this same idea he repeats in the 15th chapter also, right? Yadgatwana nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Same idea he repeats in the 15th chapter also. Having reached which, Yadgatva, having reached which, nanivartante, doesn't come back. Tat dhama paramam mama. That is the ultimate abode of mind, says Krishna. And in all these cases, Krishna is not talking as Krishna, but is talking as Paramatma, Parameshwara. Okay. So that was the meaning of Muktanam Paramagatihi. Then the next one is Avyayaha. Avyaya is a Sanskrit word basically means indeclinable. But in this context, what the meaning? The one who is free from any decline or any kind of destruction. Avyaya. That Paramatma, that Lord is free from any kind of decline or destruction. Because any living being on this earth is subject to decline and destruction. There are 6 modifications which we all go through, all living beings go through in their life, rather, right from birth to death. 6 types of modification we go through. Jayate, Vardhate, Viparinamate, then Apakshi, Apakshiyate will come later. There is one I am missing. Jayate, Vardhate, Viparinamate. One I am missing. 6 Shad Vikaras we go through. Finally is Nashyate. It's not coming into my mind immediately. Anyhow, so, but Paramatma is Parameshwara does not have this, Shad Vikaras. There is no destruction, no Nashyate for Paramatma, because why? He is not born. Anything that is born will certainly die. That is the nature's law. Anything that is born will die. That which is unborn cannot die. By logic, we can come to that conclusion. Isn't it? So Paramatma is the one who existed even before the creation was there. He never born. He was always there. He will always be there even after the whole creation goes into an unmanifest state, rather. So Paramatma does not have any birth, so he will not have any death also, no destruction, no decline he will have. And that's what he says, Adi Shankara, na vyeti na asya vyayo vinasho vikaro va vidyate iti avyaya. Giving a full definition of what this avyaya is. Ajo amaro avyaya iti shrutehe. And he borrows from a shruti vakya. Ajaha amaraha avyaya. This is a shruti vakya. And Adi Shankara quotes that shruti vakya. So vyaya means change. Avyaya means changeless. Okay. Vinashaha means destruction. Vikaraha means modification or decline. So that's what he says. Na asya vyayaha vinashaha vikaraha na vidyate. Who, the one who does not have what? Change, destruction and modification. Because of that, the Lord is called Avyaya. He is Nitya, permanent, eternal, Avinashi, cannot have any, that is Vinashaha, cannot take place. And he also does not undergo any modification. So, what can change? Only that which has a form, which is bound by time, can change. Because what keeps changing, if you observe, is the name and form. From one name and form, it changes to another name and form. Wood becomes furniture, furniture will become something else. First, a wood may become a chair, and the chair may become a sofa. The name and form has changed, but basically the wood, it's all wood only, it remains. Okay. So that which is free from any form and is not bound by time cannot change at all. And Puja Swamiji's favorite example, he quotes the clay and pot. The clay can become a pot. Pot can, over a period of time, it can either change, or even if it doesn't change, it can decline in its strength, and eventually it can get destroyed also. But the clay part of that pot will never go away. It will remain the same. The shape and the name of the pot can vanish. Clay will not vanish. So that is the example he gives, that the Brahman or Paramatma, which is the Adhishthanam, the foundation, founding principle of this entire cosmos, will ever remain. And as we have seen, the whole world is nothing but Nama Rupa only. Nama Rupatmakam Jagat. It's all names and forms. And these names and forms keeps on changing rather. That's all. So, whether the world exists or not, Brahman exists as Paramatma alone in all three periods of time without undergoing any change. And that is why he is called Avyaya. That's also a Nama. Okay. But that is a Nama, one of the Namas which he has got. Right? One of the millions of Namas which he has got. Okay. Then the next 14th one is Purushaha. Purushaha has got many meanings, many derivations, this word. But here, Adi Shankara takes a meaning of indweller of a city. Right? And of course, he also looks at this word from different standpoints. First meaning he says, Puram Shariram Tasmin Shete iti Purusha. Puram means this body is called a Puram. Our body is called a Navadwara Puram. It is like compared to a city. Because there are 9 entries and exit points. Just like that city fortress which we have, in the old days we used to have. What do you call a city? City which is actually, protected by a fort kind of construction, which has got different gates for coming in and going out. It will prevent all unnecessary things and all unnecessary or enemies from coming in. It's all a protection. The fort is a protection and the gates are meant for transaction purposes and also controlling what comes in and what goes out. So similarly, our body is compared in the Shastras to a Puram. And then Adi Shankara says, Puram Shariram Tasmin, in that, Shete, the one who actually, Shete means who is lying down, who is relaxing, reclining, sleeping. All these meanings can be taken for Shete, or for our purposes, we can say who is dwelling in that city. He is Purusha. That is one meaning, right? And Adi Shankara, in support of this, he is quoting one sloka from Mahabharata itself, in which Bhishma tells Yudhishthira the same idea, that this body, physical body, is a city with 9 gates. It is endowed with pranas, indriyas, and the antakarana. All put together is an assemblage. That's why we say body, mind, sense complex. What the complex is, all these are put together intelligently in a very perfect manner so that everything works properly for us to grow, for us to live, us to enjoy this life. All that, everything is, that whole infrastructure has been built within us. So this is what he says, right? And he says that this is because of previous punya that we got this human body. Okay. So that Paramatma, that Mahatma, the Lord, he is pervading this entire body. We have seen that meaning earlier. He pervades this entire body, but he remains there without getting affected by whatever happens to this body. The body may become old, it may become diseased. Paramatma is still there in the same form. Because he is changeless, he cannot become old. So therefore, he is called Purushaha. So this is the first meaning Adi Shankara takes. Second one, he says, Pura eva asit iti Purushaha. See, this is the beauty of the Sanskrit language. A particular word can have different derivations and can actually give us different meanings, the same word. In other language also a word may give different meanings, but we do not know on what basis those meanings have been derived. In Sanskrit, we can know on what basis that particular meaning is derived. That's the beauty of the Sanskrit language. So another interpretation, Pura eva asit iti purushaha. Pura literally means long ago, no, ancient times, Pura. That's why it's a Purana. Pura eva nava is Purana. Even though it's old, it is relevant even today. Nava means new. Being old, it is ever new. So it is what is this, said, the messages of the Puranas are relevant even in this 21st century for the human being to follow. To get, how to lead a life. All those messages are there. So that word Purana also is as a derivation. Okay. So Pura means long ago. We can take the time here as beginningless times. It's a very famous expression which Puja Swamiji uses always. Because if we say immemorable times means that we are not remembering. It has a starting, but it is not in our memory. So that's not an accurate expression of this Pura. So here, beginningless, Adi means what? The one which was there right in the beginning. But when is the beginning? We don't know. So it is beginningless. Okay, that's a phrase Puja Swamiji I think has coined. So beginningless times, Asi was present, right? Was there. So since the Lord or the Mahatma was there even before everything came into existence, he is called Purusha. This is another derivation. And we have a lot of support from our Upanishad. Sadeva Saumya Idamagramasit. Then Ekameva Advitiyam. All that, we have got Chandogya Upanishad mantras there. So this is the second meaning of Purusha. The third meaning is Purushu Bhurishu Utkarshashalishu Satveshu Sidati iti Purusha. People who don't know Sanskrit must be wondering what are these words. But people who know a little bit Sanskrit, some of my Sanskrit students who are here must be really getting some benefit out of these words. Okay. So the word Puru also has a meaning of abundance. That meaning is there, right? So for that here Adi Shankara gives Bhurishu, abundant. Okay. Utkarsha means excellence, eminence, we can say. Utkarsha Shalishu means those who have excellence or eminence. And the Lord is one who is Satveshu Sidati. Sidati means resides, stays. Satveshu is recognized as ease in everything. So because the Lord resides, is well recognized in all the things, because he pervades everything in this cosmos, and he is of the nature of abundance, limitless. So abundance, excellence, eminence, because of all these, he is called Purusha. Then he gives a fourth meaning. Puruni, Falani, Sanoti, Dadati, iti Purusha. Sanoti means gives. Dadati, same meaning. Okay. And we have seen the meaning of Puru as abundance just now. So the Lord is called Purusha because he gives people results in abundance. In fact, he is the limitless result. Ultimately, he gives to everybody the result called moksha, is the karma phala data. So he gives all the karmas which you have done in the past, the results of those karmas, the Lord being the karma phala data, the administrator of the law of karma, He gives whatever is to be given in abundance, whether it is a happy karma or a happy situation or a painful situation. He gives in abundance. So he is called Purusha. Okay. Then the fifth one he says, Puruni Bhuvanani Samhara Samaye Syati Antam Karoti iti Purusha. Syati means Antam Karoti, the one who puts an end. So the Lord puts an end to the entire manifest Jagat world at the time of Pranaya. Samhara Samaya, he says so, at the time of Pranaya. And he puts an end, that is, he takes everything from a manifest form to an unmanifest form. And because of that also, he is called Purusha. He doesn't stop there, then he gives one more. Purnatvat, Puranat va Sadhanat va Purusha. Because Lord is called Purusha because by nature, he is of the nature of fullness. He pervades everything. Puranat means fullness. Sadhanat means of the nature of existence in everything, the easiness in everything. And he is the indweller of everything in this world. And because of that, he is called Purusha. Then Pujya Swamiji adds one more to this Adi Shankara's definitions. He says, Bhaktanam Hridayam Purayati iti Purusha. That's another beautiful definition which Pujya Swamiji gives. He says, he is the one who completely fulfills the heart of devotees. When you are thinking of that Lord, when you are praying to that Lord, when you are doing Vishnu Sahasranamam, you actually experience that fullness. All I want is only the Paramagati. I don't want anything else in this world. Everything is temporal. I may get it today, I may lose it tomorrow, but the Lord is permanent. So he Bhaktanam Hridayam Purayati. He fulfills the completely, covers the heart of the devotees, and that is why he is called Purusha. Generally, people think that it is music or wealth or power that fills up the heart. But Jigyasu Bhakti, which is what Lord Krishna talks about in the Gita, that Jigyasu Bhakta recognizes that it is the Lord alone who fulfills the heart. He occupies this entire heart. And during that time, when I am with the Lord, I am actually enjoying moksha. Though it may be a temporary moksha because I may come out of that. But then my desire is I always want to be in that state of moksha. I always want the Lord to be completely filled in my heart. Okay. So since I've touched upon this Bhagavad Gita, Pujya Swamiji also slightly elaborates. He says that there are two kinds of bhakta. This is what Lord Krishna says. Pujya Swamiji in his own words he has explained. The first kind is called what is Artha and Artharthi devotees. Artha devotees and Artharthi devotees. Artha Bhakta hai and Artharthi Bhakta hai. These are the first kind, two types of devotees. Artha Bhaktas are devotees who are in distress. They never think of Ishvara unless they are in trouble. For them, Ishvara is there, okay, but no relevance for my day-to-day living. But when they get into some trouble, immediately, oh God, please save me. They will immediately start going to temple and all that. The trouble could be anything. Children not getting married could be one of the biggest troubles, worries. They'll immediately start going to temples, putting all this vibhuti and all that. Till that time, they never thought of all these things, right? And some people think that by doing Sandhya Vandanam and all that, they will get all these things. They don't understand what Sandhya Vandanam is all about. Anyhow, So these Artha Bhaktas are one who remember the God only when they get into some sort of a trouble. Many parents are there because their children are Artha Bhaktas. Whenever the children studying in the hostel or university, they run out of cash, parents become their lord. Till that time, they will not remember the parents also. They won't give them a call. They will always be busy with their friends and doing all these things. But when money runs out, immediately, I am in trouble. God, please help me, send me some money. Okay. So, for them, that is only the grace of Ishvara, which they feel will make a difference to their life. So, they finally come to the God, they pray and invoke the grace of Ishvara. So, they are one type of devotees. The Artharthi Bhaktas, they think of Ishvara before undertaking any venture. These are the Artharthi Bhaktas. Because they recognize one thing, that on their own, they cannot achieve anything. This much wisdom they have got. They know that I can do my best, whatever effort that I need to put in. But there is something called Daivam, which is an unseen power, which is the support of which is required for me to achieve what I have set out to achieve. So these bhaktas, these Artharthi bhaktas, even though their goal in life is to get materialistic gains only, nothing spiritual about it. But at least they recognize the presence of God, the role of God, the role of the totality in terms of supporting whatever we are doing, to remove all the obstacles from our ventures. So these bhaktas, they will pray regularly and then keep praying to the Lord. They will start with Ganapathy Puja or any shlokas to propitiate Lord Ganesha, so that he should remove all the obstacles in their way, including any obstacles that comes in their prayer also. Then they will pray, you give me this, give me that, all that materialistic things they will be praying. Right? So this they understand the role of these variables which are not in our control, and so they pray. So Ajnata Pratibandhas, that means unknown obstacles can come in our way whenever we set out to do anything rather. And they pray to Lord to take care of these uncontrollable variables or obstacles. And this is common. Most of the people do this. Artharthi Bhaktas. They are there. A lot of them are there. Okay. They are very respectful, reverential and all that. But their aim in life is nothing spiritual, only, as I said, materialistic goals. That's why, even when scholars and authors start writing a book, they will start with a prayer. Why? Because it is considered auspicious, and the prayer is offered for removal of any obstacles that may come in the venture of writing that book. Okay. So these prayers can control the hidden variables. So any mature person will recognize this, and he will be called a Artharthi Bhakta. Then the second category of devotees are called, there are again two types, Jigyasu Bhakta and Jnani Bhakta. These type of devotees are very rare. This Jigyasu Bhakta and Jnani Bhakta are very rare. Out of that, you will get a Jigyasu Bhakta more. Jnani Bhakta is very, very rare. Very few Jnani Bhaktas you will get. So a Jigyasu Bhakta is a devotee who has got Jigyasa. Jigyasa means what? A desire to know. Desire to know Ishvara. Desire to know what is the nature of that Lord whom everybody is praying to. So the knowledge of Ishvara is the first priority in their life of a Jigyasu Bhakta. What he wants is not a general idea. He wants a very clear idea, like what we are doing now. Word by word, analyze that word, see the meaning. I want to understand what this Lord, this Ishvara is all about in complete way. This is the Jigyasu Bhakta. Many people may be chanting Vishnu, doing Vishnu Sahasranamam Parayana. How many people will have that desire to know the meanings of this, and not only know the desire to do everything for getting that knowledge? You may have a mere desire. You may attend 2 classes and then say, okay, this is all boring thing. I'm not getting anything out of it. And Vishnu Sahasranam, 1,000 names, if you have to actually know the meanings fully, completely, comprehensively, it will take a long time. It's not going to be a 3-month course. You must have patience. You must actually have that continuity of the desire that I want to know more, I want to know more. They are called Jigyasu Bhaktas. Okay. So they want the total knowledge of Ishvara. So because they know that whatever desires I may have in my life, I can get it. Only secret is I should know Ishvara well. Where he is the one who is a karma phala data, he is the one who actually makes things happen for me. I am only a nimitta for many things. So this he knows. So that is why he has got the keen interest in knowing Ishvara fully. There is no greater security than the knowledge of Ishvara. The moment you have understand what Ishvara is all about, your insecurity feeling goes away totally. Okay. So this is the Jigyasu Bharta. Once he clearly knows what Ishvara is, and then in that process he undertakes, once he has studied Vishnu Sahasranama, he feels, I have got a very good idea, but I want to know more. Then he goes to Vedanta, studies the Upanishads. What exactly is this? And then once he gets that knowledge of the self, what the real knowledge of the absolute reality is, what is that Paramatma is all about, that Parameshwara is all about, he becomes a Jnani Bhakta. For a Jnani Bhakta, he then, all these forms of Ishvara, this Vishnu form and all are irrelevant. He then realizes that what the whole Vishnu Sahasranama 1,000 names that I saw with the meanings is nothing but what is there in the Upanishads. Upanishads also talks about that Brahman only. And the same Brahman was what we talked about in Vishnu Sahasranama, giving a form and a name to that Vishnu. Not one name, 1,000 names to that Brahman. The form assumed here is Vishnu's form. When we go and do Shiva Sahasranama, it will be a Shiva's form. Essentially, there is no difference between what the meanings of these names are and what the message of the Upanishads as the absolute reality. When he realizes that, then he also realizes that I am that Brahman, then he becomes a Jnani Bhakta. Then choice is his. He can do this Parayanam and things like that if he wants to do with the full understanding that these are names and forms. Or he need not do this also. He can just dwell in that knowledge. He can continue Brahma Sutra and all that, studying that. But once he gets that knowledge and starts abiding in that knowledge, he becomes a Jnani Bhakta. So Bhakti is there throughout our life. And that is why, many people interpret that Bhakti Marga is one of the Margas for moksha, which is a very wrong interpretation of Bhagavad Gita. Without Bhakti, you cannot have anything. That's why I keep on saying reverential attitude is the foundation, adhishthanam of our Sanatana Dharma. Of what is reverential attitude? Bhakti only. Whether it is bhakti towards Ishvara, whether it is bhakti towards human beings, whether it is bhakti towards nature, bhakti towards everything. That is what is so. Even amongst the bhaktas, there are different categories of bhaktas, and even a jnani is a bhakta only. And this Lord Krishna very clearly tells Arjuna. Don't think that the jnani has become a jnani means he doesn't have any bhakti. In fact, he has the highest form of bhakti. And he says that kind of a bhakta is what is very priyam to me. Lord Krishna says, when I take Bhagavad Gita classes, those who have enrolled, you will get all this interpretation in Bhagavad Gita classes. Okay. So this is what it is. So the one who is Purayati, who fills up the hearts of all the devotees, he is the Purusha. He is the Pratyagatma. Pratyagatma means who indweller, who resides in the Hridayapura, in the city of your heart, and who is indeed the Paramatma. We have 5 minutes, okay. So I will take one more name, Sakshi. The next one is Sakshi. Sakshi means witness. Witness of what? Witness of everything. That's what we say, Somebody does something, some mischief or criminal act or something, thinking that nobody is seeing. And they are told, don't think nobody is seeing. Bhagavan is seeing what you are doing. Because we may think that no other human being is seeing, but whatever act we do, we are doing either in the presence of some other object, isn't it? Suppose there is a boy, just give you an example, a high school boy, he wants to smoke. He knows that if he is caught smoking, he will be punished. So he goes to a wooden area, jungle area, secret, nobody is there. And he will do the smoking there. Okay, thinking that nobody is seeing. But what? All the trees, everything, the rocks, everything is seeing that act. He doesn't understand that is all Ishvara only. They are all witness to his act of smoking. And at some time or the other, they will stand witness also, because Ishvara has recorded it. This fellow did this. It is recorded. So he has got, Sahasraksha, innumerable eyes. Every name and form is eyes of Ishvara. As we see in Purusha Suktam, starts with Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat. So, people don't understand that everything, even our thoughts, Ishvara is watching because he is inside us. He is pervading everything, including pervading all our thoughts. So he knows even when we have a wrong thought in our mind, he will record that also. Papa karma, that is also. And that is why whenever we are doing Sandhya Vandanam every day, 3 times, we actually say, whatever we are doing with all manasa, vacha, karmana, padbhyam, udarena, shishna, whatever papa I have done, oh Lord, please remove those papas. 3 times a proper a person who lives his life in a Vedic way, he does this 3 times. So whenever, whatever papa we have done during different periods of time during the day, we try to liquidate it then and there, all the papas. Okay, Durita is called. Okay. So now, this Sakshi, as I said, normally we require our sense organs for perception, right? With the mind behind those sense organs. That is how we see things and we perceive things and all that. But the Lord is Sakshat Ikshate, sees everything directly. He doesn't need any sense organs or any mind and all that. He doesn't need any of that. In here, he doesn't have also. He is actually formless. So there is no necessity, and without the intervention of all these kind of instruments, sense organs, mind and all, and he directly observes everything. So because of that, what also happens is his witness or his witnessing all these things is free from the defects which could come to us because of the defects in the sense organs or defects in our mind. Because whenever we perceive things, there is a possibility that if the eyesight is not clear, we may not be able to see clearly. Or whenever we are seeing, if our mind is not, calm and quiet, it is agitated, then that whatever we are seeing or perceiving will not register in the mind. Ishvara has got no such limitations, rather, right? So he is a Sakshat Ikshate. He sees everything directly. He does not have to make a Sankalpa. Right? First, let me think of seeing and then I will see and all. He is present there. Whatever goes on in his presence. Because he is of the nature of consciousness. Consciousness is everywhere, all pervading. Okay. That is his Swarupa. So, with reference to the mind, he is called Sakshi, but by himself, he is Chaitanya Swarupa, nature of consciousness. And then he is Asangaha, even though he witnesses everything, he records everything, whatever who is doing, he himself is uninvolved in all these things. So that also is implied in this word Sakshi. Okay. I think I will stop here, exact time. Say the prayers, and if you have any questions, then we can discuss. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you. See you all.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Sunday we will.
Guruji, I do have a question.
Yes, please.
The question is, when we say Hastabhyam Padbhyam Udarena Shishna and ask that we are taken away from the mistakes or sins or the dushkarma that we have done, how does it erase?
How does it erase? See, we are offering that, first of all, Sandhya Vandana Karma, we are doing it for purpose of Chitta Shuddhi. It is not a materialistic, desire-oriented karma. So the only sankalpam we do is what? Sankar Parameshwara Prityartham. For the purpose of, pleasing Parameshwara, we are doing this Sandhya Vandana Karma. Okay. Then what we do is that it is like an oblation, like what we believe. When we do a homa or a yajna, what we do? We say that we are offering certain, oblations into the fire, and with the expectation that those offerings will go and reach whichever devata we are offering, right? So similarly, when we do the Pratah Sandhya, we take Surya Bhagavan as the one who has got the power to remove this. And basically in Sandhya Vandanam, Surya Bhagavan is taken as Brahman. Because there is a mantra, as we say before we start chanting the Gayatri mantra, Asavadityo Brahma Brahmaivaham Asmi. This mantra is said. Asav Aditya Brahma Brahman Brahma Tat Brahma Aham Asmi. This is the visualization we do before we chant the Gayatri mantra. So once we have actually assumed or given that power of Brahman to Surya, what we are doing is that we are offering all our Papa Karmas, Durita Karmas, what we have done during that period from the previous night. When we do Pratah Sandhya, the previous night Karmas, Manasa, Vacha, Astabhyam, Padbhyam, Udarena, Shishna, whatever we do, we are offering them unto the Lord Surya for the Lord Surya to completely burn it. Means what? I don't want that karma to stick to me. If I have done anything wrong, let it be taken away from me. This is one way of getting rid of Papa Karma. Similarly, in the afternoon also, we do the same thing. But there the mantra is slightly different rather. There the focus is more on if I have eaten something which I should not have eaten as per the Shastras, Uchishtam, Abhojyam, and all that mantras comes there. That is also Papa Karmas. If you eat something which is leftovers, in the Shastra it is considered to be Papa Karma. You are supposed to eat freshly cooked food only. Not somebody has eaten and then you eat. Only exception Shastra makes is in the case of Shraddha Karma ceremony, where you are supposed to eat that. Whatever Brahmanas are eaten, whatever is remaining, you are supposed to eat. That's the only exception Shastra gives for Shraddha Karmas. Otherwise, you are not supposed to eat what are leftovers. Even if you have eaten something in the morning and the same thing leftover you eat in the evening, Papa Karma, according to Shastras. Similarly, many people, according to Shastra, one should not eat onion and things like that and all. The purpose there is that Shastra's purpose is that you, for developing Sattva Guna, these food kind of foods don't help. So it is considered as an unsuitable thing, as a Papa Karma. So that will come under Abhojyam or Suram na pibet, I mean, like drinking liquor or, this all those things. So if I have done any of those things, if I have done it with my free will, knowing fully well, that cannot be erased. Here what we are saying is, by chance, if I have done anything unknowingly, please let those karmas do not stick to me. Because I had no intention. At night when I was sleeping, I might have done so many things. My free will was not working at that time. And even during daytime, if I have done some of these things, there were circumstances which were extenuating circumstances because of which I was forced. So it is a prayer as an offering. All the Papa Karmas that we have done, we are offering. Now, by our offering does not mean that it will all be accepted. But then what happens is, we have seen in our children, they will ask for something. We will first say, no, we will not get you that. Then every day they will go on pestering us. Finally, we will get tired and say, okay, go ahead, we will give you that. So 3 times a day, you go on pestering the Lord, take my Papa away, take my Papa away, take my Papa away. Finally, he may say, okay, I will grant you this, I will take your Papa. It's just a sort of, in a light way. So we need to understand all these things in its totality. I mean, we cannot, separate one thing and then how this works, and all. The whole thing works in this way. Where this law of karma comes in, law of karma also comes in the same thing. Now, ultimately, as I told in the Tattva Bodha class also, karma, punya papa karma will be attracted to us only for those karmas which we do using our free will. So that is a very, very important aspect to understand the whole punya papa business. And Sandhya Vandanam is more of a sort of auto-suggestion also. That the more you are actually saying that take my Papa away, you will become conscious that I should actually not do any Papa. Whether knowingly or unknowingly, I must be careful that I must lead a dharmic life. I must not do anything which will be a Papa, Papa-oriented karma. So you become more aware and conscious. When every day you are repeating it 3 times a day. So that is another way you can look at it, that psychologically it builds up a certain attitude in us to be very careful. And we know certain very general papas like, ahimsa and all that. So we will start practicing those things very consciously. So when we see a cockroach, we will not go take one slipper or one broom to go and kill that cockroach. We'll say, okay, it is also a living being. I should not do that. If I do that, I will get a papa. So let me do one thing. Let me actually catch hold of that cockroach and go and put it somewhere outside. That much trouble let me take. So these kind of small things in our life, we will start developing when we get that attitude. So it is a long subject. I can go on talking about it, giving different examples, but I think that I have answered your question.
So Raghuji, basically it's an auto suggestion to improve yourself. It's like an auto suggestion, right?
It is also an auto suggestion.
Oh, it is also. Okay, I just wanted to confirm that it's not also.
There are
Okay.
various angles to that. So one angle is auto-suggestion. From a
Okay.
purely existential point of view, if you want to say, no, I don't want to Ishvara business and all, it is auto-suggestion for your good living. Your peaceful living. You give peace to others, peace will come to you. You trouble others, trouble will certainly come to you. This is the nature's law, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Whenever
Thank you,
are
Raghuji.
seeing, there are many people, when they see this, ants and things that they're troubled, they kill those things, It's not conducive for a spiritual attitude. So we must become aware that they are also living beings, and tomorrow we may be those ants. We don't know. If you kill an ant, you will become, God will make you an ant. Then you will be killed. Anyhow, this is all sort of in the lighter vein. What I'm saying is, these are all, the whole system of our Shastras are built around becoming a better and better and better human being. And all those things which can prevent us from that, there are ways and means they have devised in order to remove those, those obstacles or those negative influences on us. For us to become a better and better human being, expand our mind to take in the entire cosmos as our own self. And that is what is basically all that environmental laws, this, that, and all we talk. No law can actually change human behavior unless the human mind expands. And that is where we have all lost the, the whole story. There was a time when the, olden times and all, when people were with Shastras and all that, they had this kind of an attitude, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam was the attitude. Today, even my own Kutumbam is not my Kutumbam. That is the situation we have reduced ourselves to. But those who understand, they can at least on an individual level try to promote themselves, uplift themselves, rather raise their own levels, both of thinking and living. That is what I would say is, that is what is all about. Spirituality is nothing but this only. Spirituality is not going to temples, and that also is a part of that only. But eventually, this is the goal of spirituality. Raise your levels up. Awake, arise, as Kathopanishad says. Right? So that is what is the message we must get from all this.
Thank you, Raghuji. Thank you.
Thank
Like
you.
Okarnanda Swamiji says, it's a Kali Yuga Maya. That's
Maya
what
only. So everything when you understand is a Maya, then there is nothing left.
especially Kali Yuga.
Then
Kali
you
Yuga,
got that knowledge. Everything is Maya, right?
Yeah.
But Maya will be like that only. You cannot change Maya. So you accept the Maya and move on. That's all. That's what many of us don't understand when we get married. We can't change Maya. We try, struggle whole life to change each other and not understanding that it's all Maya.
Oh God. It's like, thank you, Raghuji.
Okay, Hari Om. Thank you very much. See you next Sunday. Hari Om. Thank you.